What's up, everybody? It's Draymond Green. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel below so you don't miss any more of this great content going forward. Speak on Mark Jackson a little bit. One thing I always say to people, and I would love to get your perspective, I don't think people, it's just not something that we talk about. But I felt like Mark Jackson, Coach Jackson to me, but I feel like one thing that he was great at is he breathed confidence in the guys. Like he's just spewing confidence in the guys. And I think that was huge in our growth and who we eventually became, is the confidence that he gave guys. I know people, like I was actually watching earlier today the clip when he said, I got the best shooting backcourt in the history of basketball.
He sounded crazy.
He sounded crazy. I thought he was crazy and out of his mind. Everybody in the world thought he was crazy and out of his mind. But he said, I got the best shooting backcourt in basketball history. What did Coach Jackson do for you in your career in helping you understand, like, no, you are one of them dudes? What was that for you? Because I know for me, like, he breathed confidence into me and made me felt like I belonged in this league.
Yeah, it's the balance of, like, as a player, like, people who say they don't hear or read anything, they lying. Like, you hear everything that happens. That people's, like, media, analysts, coaches, other players, like, it's a small fraternity and group and a family in this NBA, and then also within these organizations. So you hear everything about you, and it's just a matter of, like, that awareness mixed with, like you said, your confidence in who you are, your identity, and then obviously what you go and do out on the floor. To have somebody that's a decision maker, that's, you know, in that head coaching position, that goes out of his way to either defend, hype up, like breathe life into, like you say, to your players, like that meant so much, especially as a first-time head coach, because he was going out on these, you know, on these limbs that, like I said, some people thought he was, like, out of his mind, you know, just kind of just a ride or die with no kind of thought. Like he was very strategic and intentional about everything that he said, and that meant so much to us as a young team trying to just find an edge and find an identity. And it was contagious, man. Like, you know, he would come into every pregame locker, you know, speech and give us a like a sermon almost.
Absolutely.
And it would just be like something like you want to run through the wall or laugh or feel some type of emotion, and we go out and hoop. And he was so consistent in that front. So at that time in my career and our career as a team and journey that we were trying to, you know, come into, he was perfect for that, because he was an extreme motivator, you know, an ultimate defender. He'd hype you up. He'd breathe confidence in you, and that's how we went out and played. And I think to his credit, sometimes you think about how everything ended after that third year. He almost would use different motivations that weren't even real. Like, you kind of have to manifest something, like almost like the Kobe mentality, or like MJ back in the day. Like, I might make something up in terms of there's, you know, some enemy that doesn't even exist, but I'm gonna make sure everybody's on the same page against whatever that is.
Absolutely.
That's just how he rolled, and it was great for us in terms of, you know, giving us that edge.
Has it been shocking for you that he hasn't been able to
1,000%.
get another job?
I understand the drama around when he left, because it was a front office coach disagreement, and he would probably admit that there were a couple of interviews he did right after he left that he probably didn't need to do. He spoke his mind, he spoke his truth, but he probably, you know, I don't say regret, but you think about, like, you know, doing it a different way on the back end. But when you talk about, like, somebody that knows the game, somebody that knows how to relate to players, somebody that is an ultimate competitor and play at the highest level, play for some great coaches and with other amazing, you know, players throughout his career, like all that wrapped into one person, and just his vantage point as an analyst and all that. Like, I'm extremely surprised. I know his name floats up a lot. He deserves another opportunity, whoever want to take our opinion.
100%. 100%.
So, definitely surprised, and hopefully that won't remain too long.
I think when I'm looking around the NBA, I hope he gets an opportunity that he does not have to build a team the way he had to build us. But the reality is there's 10 to 15 teams a year in that same position that he's proven right here that he can handle that job for sure. Now, if you want to say, oh, well, he hadn't coached superstars, because when he coached us, you weren't a superstar yet. Clay wasn't a superstar yet. You know, like we none of us had grown into who we became. So if you want to say, all right, well, he hasn't proven he can coach superstars. Well, what he has proven is at least that he can do that.
No doubt.
And so that part has been a bit shocking to me, I must say. And I hope to see, you know, his name just came up in the Lakers job, and I hope to see him get an opportunity because I think he did an incredible job. Everyone has their differences. I don't think any head coach or general manager or ownership group is on the same page at all times. I don't believe that. And after being in this league for 10 years, I can almost say that's for certain. I mean, and if you have one that's always on page at the same time, always on the same page, then they're an outlier. They're a unicorn because it just doesn't happen. This is a very,
it's a dynamic situation. Things change so fast in this league. And the fact that you always are going to have to recalibrate and reassess and like you said, find some middle ground even almost, because there are so many, you know, especially when you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, like, I mean, what the Lakers are going through and what's coming out now.
Yeah, everything coming out of there now.
Like, it's crazy. It's just the evolutions of all this stuff, and it's what we do and what everybody, it's not easy.
No, for sure. And I think, like you said, some interviews that he maybe want to take back now. But I also think he caught some things that came his way that were a little unfair. And here's one of them. Steph Curry ruined the game of basketball. When he said that, everybody was on edge. Like, wow, did he really come out and go at Steph like that?
He bitter. He got fired. Now he coming at
Absolutely. You look at the game of basketball today, I understand exactly what he was talking about.
Absolutely.
You watch an elementary school play, you watch the NBA. I know exactly what he was talking about. But at that time, I think that also fueled the narrative of him being bitter, right? It fueled the narrative of, oh man, it wasn't all working there. And look, now he's shooting that Steph. And it was actually more of a compliment than anything.
Just had to let the dust settle and figure out exactly what the context. He had been in gyms with his sons. They were hooping. He was watching, you know, middle school games every week, and he was like, "Yo, what is?" They're literally watching this dude and thinking they can skip a bunch of steps and be like him. So it's hard to get that in on a broadcast, especially. That was one of the worst things that next year when he got after he got let go and Coach Kerr's in, we're on a run. They put him in like 20 of our games.
Every game.
Why you set my man up for for success?
For sure. Every game he was on. I mean, that's another story.
I was trying to say, that's good TV. No.
It's not. Y'all are really making him look like he can't even speak the way he want to speak. For instance, saying Steph Curry ruined the game of basketball. And everybody's just piling on everything he say. The moment he criticized anything the Warriors is doing, like any analyst they're going to go at both teams. That's what you do as an analyst. You're going to pick the game apart. And he'd say something about us, and it's the headline of the game.